You know the image, right? That fin slicing through the water, those rows of teeth. There is probably no animal out there that captures our fear and our fascination quite like the shark. It's an icon, a legend, and yeah, the star of a lot of our nightmares. But what if the monster we have in our heads is nothing like the marvel that's actually in the ocean? Well, let's dive in and find out. For as long as we can remember, we've pretty much cast the shark as the ultimate villain of the sea, right? The shadowy bad guy in our oldest sea tales. From these giant leviathans that could supposedly swallow ships whole to the killers in our summer blockbusters, it's the creature we kind of love to fear. Because here's the thing, behind that terrifying image is a creature that is so much more complex, more ancient, and frankly, more surprising than you could ever imagine. So today, we're going to separate the monster from the marvel and uncover the real story of the shark. So, how did the shark become the boogeyman of the ocean? I mean, our fear of them is nothing new. It's a story that's been told for as long as we've sailed the seas, really woven into the very fabric of maritime culture and myth. All around the world, different cultures have seen sharks as, well, something more than just animals. They've seen them as spirits, gods, even omens. And you can see the incredible range of beliefs right here. From these malevolent spirits feared in Polynesia, all the way to a revered protector god, Dakuwaka, in Fiji. It just goes to show you, our relationship has always been really complicated, a mix of fear and total reverence. And you know, as wild as some of these myths are, sometimes a true story comes along that's just even more unbelievable. And this one, it involves a hungry shark, a corrupt sea captain, and a courtroom reveal that sounds like it's straight out of a movie. Okay, so get this. This is the incredible case of the Shark Papers. A British commander was totally convinced an American ship, the Nancy, was carrying stolen goods. But the captain, he had a forged logbook. It looked like he was going to get away with it until another ship caught a shark, and what did they find inside its stomach? The real logbook. Case closed, all thanks to a shark's perfectly timed meal. You can't make this stuff up. As amazing as that story is, the shark's true history is even more epic. To really understand the marvel of this animal, we need to rewind the clock, and I mean way back, a few 100 million years to be exact. Forget T-Rex, sharks are the ultimate survivors. They were patrolling the oceans more than 400 million years ago. That's before the dinosaurs even showed up. They swam alongside prehistoric sea reptiles, they survived the asteroid that wiped out the dinos, and they're still here, masters of their domain. Speaking of prehistoric power, let's talk about the biggest, most formidable predatory shark that ever lived. A true sea monster that tipped the scales at a staggering 50 tons. And that behemoth was the megalodon. This slide just illustrates the terrifying scale we're talking about. Look at its 6-inch tooth on the left compared to a modern great white's on the right. The megalodon's jaws were so massive a grown person could have stood upright inside them. It was the undisputed king of the ocean for 14 million years. Now, when you hear the word shark, I bet one specific image pops into your mind, right? The great white. But the reality is a huge, varied family tree with some very unexpected members. Take a look at this. It might not look like your typical shark, but the guitarfish is one of its closest living cousins. It's part of a group called batoids, which includes skates and rays. You can almost see the shark's shape just kind of flattened out for a life on the seafloor. And that's pretty much exactly what happened. Rays actually evolved from sharks about 200 million years ago. So they are, in essence, sharks that adapted for a completely different lifestyle. This shared ancestry leads to some amazing lookalikes, like the sawfish and the sawshark. People mix them up constantly, but the key differences are laid out right here. The sawfish, it's actually a type of ray, so its gills are on its underside. The sawshark, though, is a true shark with gills on its sides. That's a simple trick to tell these incredible cousins apart. So what is it? What's the secret sauce that has made sharks such enduring and effective predators for all this time? How did they survive when so many other giants just vanished? Well, the secret is in their perfectly honed anatomy. The shark is an evolutionary masterpiece. I mean, from its sixth sense that can detect the tiny electrical fields of its prey to its incredible propulsion system, every single part of its body is designed for peak performance in the water. First up, the skeleton. And this is incredible. Unlike you and me, sharks don't have a single bone in their body. Not one. Their entire frame is made of cartilage, the same tough, flexible stuff in our ears and nose. This makes them way lighter and more agile in the water, which is a huge evolutionary advantage. And how do they breathe? It's a beautifully efficient system. They take in water, push it over their gills, where oxygen gets absorbed right into the blood, and then they just expel the water out for their gill slits. Simple, powerful, and perfectly suited for life underwater. Now for their most famous and most feared feature, the teeth. How many do you think a shark goes through in its lifetime? 100? 1,000? The real answer is just staggering, up to 30,000. And this is how they do it. A shark's jaw is like a revolutionary conveyor belt of teeth. They have multiple rows, and when a tooth in the front breaks or falls out, one from the row behind just rotates forward to take its place. It's a never-ending supply of razor-sharp tools, making sure they are always ready for action. So we've traveled from the dark depths of ancient myths all the way to the era of prehistoric giants, and we've even peered into the biological engine room of one of nature's greatest survivors. The key takeaway is really this. The shark is not just a monster. It is an ancient lineage of survivors, a diverse family of remarkable animals, and an absolute masterpiece of evolution. It's far more marvel than it is monster. Think about it. They've outlasted dinosaurs. They've survived 5 global mass extinctions. The big question now is, can they survive us? And that's something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this dive into the real story of sharks.